Hello, welcome to the Reasonable Rifle Series YouTube page. This is my first video on this new YouTube page I created, so I thought I would take the time and explain the gear that I have and why I have it. I plan to shoot NRL and PRS competitions with this gear. I just had my first shoot a couple days ago, so this YouTube channel will be a lot of vlogs from the shoots and practicing and range time. So I thought it was important to go over my gear in the first video. So with that, we'll get started. I'll start with breaking down my centerfire rig. This is a Ruger American Predator in 6.5 Creedmoor. It started its life as a hunting rifle. I liked the way it shot and started to reload for it, and then it shot even better. Imagine that. So I started dabbling in hitting steel targets, at greater distances. I picked up this secondhand scope from a guy I shoot with. It works great. This is the Vortex Viper HSLR. It's got the old style shim for a zero stop, so it's due for an upgrade, but it's working well for me right now. It came with a terrible green plastic stock. If you watch any videos on the Ruger American Predator, you'll see everybody hates the stock. Well, I did. So I dropped the barrel in action in this Magpul American Hunter. This is still my hunting rifle, so I think going with a chassis is kind of unreasonable to think I'm gonna schlep it all the way up on top of the hill and hunt with it. So I went with this little bit lighter dual purpose Magpul stock. The next upgrade was the trigger. This is the Timney Ruger Centerfire trigger. It's also a very common upgrade because the factory trigger is garbage. I've got this set to break at like 2 pounds. It's really crisp and clean compared to the other one. The other one had some creaks in it. It was just bad. 20 MOA base, UTG rings, cheap Harris bipod, factory barrel. I plan to eventually replace this barrel. I like to keep things on a budget for my shooting sports until I get better and can, justify spending a lot of money. So I will shoot and burn this barrel out and then likely replace it. Well, if I shoot it out, I will replace it, but I don't know what I'll do yet. eBay muzzle brake. So I think I might have $1,000 into this rifle when I'm all said and done with it, not including the scope. But the scope was a deal. I got a killer deal on it, so that doesn't really count. So the next most important thing after having a good sub MOA rifle is having a good reliable source of ammo. So I reload my own 6.5 ammo. I can buy the components reasonably in large enough quantities where I can load the same load. Never have to change my ammo type and my zero spot and stuff like that. When I first started shooting this gun, I could never find the same ammo twice, so that was challenging. So I've eliminated that now. I've got a few hundred rounds loaded up. I do still shoot some factory ammo just to plink with, but it's getting so expensive, I really don't want to plink with it anymore. I just kind of, if I see it, I'll get a box or whatever. My next rig is my NRL22 rig. You'll see this in my next video. I shot an NRL22 competition. Actually, you'll see both of them because we did a practice round. But this is what you'll be seeing the majority of. My NRL22 club shoots right next door to my house, so I really have no excuse to go to their matches. But so this is a Savage B22 Precision and 22 long rifle. It is new to me. I'm not totally comfortable with it yet. I've only been shooting it for a month. It's a nice gun so far. The factory trigger here is decent. I've got it set as low as it'll go, and it's like 2.5 pounds. It's a little bit heavier than my Ruger trigger, but it's smooth, so that's important. This gun comes from the factory in an MDT chassis specific for this gun. I like it. It's got an adjustable cheek piece. It's got an adjustable pull, but they don't give you any more of the adjustments. You have to buy them. I think that's typical now. I've got it topped with another secondhand scope. This is the Athlon Midas TAC 6x24x50 in mils. It's a decent scope. It does not have the Christmas tree reticle, quote unquote. It's just got the hash marks, whereas my Vortex has the Christmas tree reticle. I like that a lot better. I had to put a 20 MOA base on this gun. It comes from the factory with a 0 MOA base. I think that's stupid, especially if you're using this gun for what it's meant to be used for. You need all of the elevation adjustment. I have this Chinese eBay special 30 MOA one-piece cantilever rail I put on. So I've got 50 MOA just in the mount. So this scope has 25 mils of elevation adjustment. I can use 23. So that's pretty close. I got these eBay bipods. They're cheap. The big thing with shooting a 22 in a competition is having the same thing as a centerfire, but a good reliable source of ammo. I shoot standard velocity CCIs. I can get these in brick of 500 or 1,000 at a reasonable price. So I just shoot these. You know, if I get better, maybe I'll switch to higher quality round like Magpul Center X or something. But for now, these CCIs are treating me well, and they're cheap and it's fun. So it's good to go. I've got a lot of good data from shooting this gun. I've chronoed it. So I've, printed out data out to 400 yards. Our competitions will often go out to 400 yards. So it's important to have data for all of this. But this is weather corrected data also. So this is in the cold, 15 or 20 degrees. The CCI standard velocities drop from 1070 down to 1020. On a side note, this is my only bag for barricade shooting. I do not like to spend a ton of money on my gear. This bag works well for what I needed to do. I would like to get maybe a game changer eventually, but this was just a front bag you'd set your rifle in. I let a quarter of the stuffing out, and now it kind of conforms to, barricades or 2x4s or whatever, and set my gun right on the top like that. And it works for me. You don't have to get crazy with your gear to be able to go out and shoot a competition and have fun. All right, that's it for my, competition geared shooting gear. It's mostly entry-level stuff. The Savage I haven't done anything to. The Ruger I still use for hunting, so it's, kind of half in between PRS style rifle and also a hunting rifle. It works for me. I do not have a ton of money into this stuff. Can't really justify spending tons of money on gear. I'm not that good at shooting in matches yet. You'll see in my next video. So it's tough to want to go out and buy or build a huge, 6 BR centerfire build from the ground up. So I just kind of make what I have work. It even goes as far as to my bag. I don't have a bunch of bags. I have one bag, and it's not even meant for what I'm doing with it. I just made it work. The most important gear you should focus on getting if you're going to shoot NRL or PRS competitions is you need a gun that can shoot sub MOA at 100 yards, so that's less than an inch group at 100 yards. You need a scope that you can zoom in on that, in my opinion, has a zero stop. I think a zero stop makes or breaks the deal on the scope. And then you also need a good, reliable source of ammo. I mean, you can't go to a match and shoot 4 different types of ammo because they're all going to impact differently. So with those 3 main things, you got sub-MOA gun, a good scope, and a good source of reliable ammo. I think most anybody can go and shoot a match and have a ton of fun. And that's the most important part. You know, if you think your gear's holding you back, I would say it's probably not. I would say just go out and shoot a match and have a ton of fun. That's what I'm doing. I mean, so if you have any questions or comments, or you like my video, you know, like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube page. Let me know what you think of my guns here. They're nothing really special, but I like them. I'm comfortable with them. They shoot well for me, and I plan to be shooting them in every video that I post on this page from here on out. So it's a breakdown of my gear and what I'm doing with this. So thanks.